Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Magic with Zuby. My name is Zuby, and if you're brand new to this show, the show is all about a little well-known card game called Magic: The Gathering. So on today's episode, we brought on none other than the awesome Twitch streamer, TikToker, Instagrammer, Twitterer, Emma Skyeward. We talked about just about anything, going from content creation to cars to there's probably a lot of stuff, and we just finished recording right after as I'm recording this too. So, but it was just a lot of topics there. Really enjoyed talking with her. It was great. Oh, we talked about cryptocurrency and NFTs as well. So, before we get into the interview, let's get a few little announcements out of the way. You can help support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/magicwithzuby. You can find me on Twitter at magicwithzuby, on Instagram at magic_with_zuby, and on my TikTok at mtgzuby. And you can email me with any questions you may have at mtgzuby@gmail.com. This show is also sponsored by cardsphere.com, the best place to buy, trade, and sell your Magic singles. And that's about it. So without further ado, please help me in welcoming Emma Skyward. All right. Hey, everybody. It's Zuby here, and I've got with me Emma Skyward, who is probably... what I know you from mainly is the MTG TikToks, which are great.
That's true. I think I would probably consider myself primarily a Twitch streamer, but the TikToks have definitely been a big part of my content and content strategy. So I'm really happy that you know me from my TikToks.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I've been familiar with your Twitch and your Instagram, but what really started getting me following you even more was the TikTok, because it's just hilarious.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm so glad.
They've they've just been simply hilarious. Like, what have been some of your favorite ones that you've done so far?
My favorite TikTok I've ever made is to the song Roxanne, but it just cuts off at the part where it's like rocks, and I'm just holding a bunch of mana rocks. I think as soon as I recorded that TikTok, I watched it myself like 15 times, just like cackling away. My boyfriend was like, "It's not that funny." I was like, "I think it's hilarious." Okay?
Yeah, that's all that matters.
This is my best work. This is the best work I've ever made.
Yeah, that's all that matters, right?
Yes, I had a great time.
Yeah. No, I've started diving into MTG TikToks a little bit. They're just... At first, I didn't get the platform at all. Like, this is dumb. And then... it took Jess from Inkling Customs to like sort of persuade me to go on there and just start making TikToks.
She makes great content on on TikTok.
And her art is so good.
I know. I'm obsessed with her tokens. I'm like, maybe one day I can get a custom token made by Inkling, because those are super dope.
Oh, I'm not to spoil anything for my listeners here, but it's in the works for Zuby tokens.
That's exciting.
Yes.
I'm stoked.
Probably won't be for months now, but it's okay. But
Art
no.
takes time.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Just so I wanted to bring you on here to really just talk with you, interview you, get to know you a little bit more. Excuse me. So you primarily where did you start in Magic content? Was it mainly Twitch at first, or?
It was. So I've actually been streaming on Twitch for a really long time. I think I'm approaching 6 years now, maybe even 7. I started in college, and I just streamed a different game. I streamed an MMO, and I was really looking to get out of the MMO space. And I had a small crisis, because I was like, if I'm not streaming an MMO and I can't aim, so FPS games are like out, what am I going to play?
League of Legends.
Yeah, League of Legends. I streamed League of Legends before I streamed the MMO. And then I was like, what's left? Card games. So I picked up Arena, started playing Arena on Twitch. And I was actually just relatively quickly pretty good at Magic, which surprised me because like I'd never been good at a video game or game before in my entire life. I didn't grow up gaming. It was something I sort of stumbled on later in life. So I was like, oh my God, I'm good at something. I'm good at Magic the Gathering.
That's my wife too. My wife took sort of the same. She's never much of a gamer, but like the past 2 years, she's been obsessed with Apex Legends.
Oh, dude. Apex, I'm really exceedingly bad at, but it is a very fun game to watch.
She's so fucking good. I can't even play with her. She's so good now.
I get really frustrated when I play FPS games, and that's
Yeah,
Valorant
yeah.
and Apex. I just get
so
angry, and it's not fun. That's why I don't stream FPS games too. I'm not good, and it's not fun to watch me play because I get really mad, and nobody wants to watch me get mad. People would rather watch me be decently good at Magic and like be a chill person. So, yeah, and then as soon as I was like, oh my god, I'm good at this, I just started playing like a shit ton of Magic. Like I couldn't stop. I played Magic like obsessively for 3 or 4 months before I would do literally anything else. Like I would not play other games. I didn't touch anything else. I finished Strike and then I played Magic the Gathering. And I mean, I still kind of do that, but it's a little bit less obsessive now. I've had 2 years of Magic to calm me down. But I love it. I absolutely love it. And I like, I like that it was something that I felt like I just clicked with really well on a play style level. So that was encouraging for me.
So was that your first time ever playing Magic when you picked it up in Arena?
I actually played Magic briefly when I was about 15 years old. Some friends introduced it to me. But I actually had a really bad experience at a local card shop when I was that age. And I didn't go back. I was like, this is not worth it. I'm just going to wait. So Arena was really good for me because I got the opportunity to learn to play the game without any pressure of other people or, just do it at your own pace.
Yeah.
Don't have to talk to people. And now I like the face-to-face aspect. But at the start, it was great to learn something with no pressure at my own pace.
No, that's a good way of thinking about it. I'm interested always hearing stories like that because I've been a long time Magic player. I started when I was a little kid too, and then stopped on and off. And it wasn't until Return to Ravnica came. It's when I came back full force. Haven't stopped since. And I found Arena, I was super excited about Arena and all that stuff, but I found it to be a little bit detrimental because it didn't have the gathering aspect of it, which I love the aspect of being able to play it anytime, anywhere. Because before only ever being able to play Magic once a week, maybe,
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting hearing that you enjoyed it because it taught you how to learn. It taught you the game first. Then when you go play with other people now, do you find it easier for you to just ease in and even play with strangers like that, or?
I do. I think actually, so I started playing a lot more paper Magic right before the COVID pandemic, so I didn't get a lot of opportunity. But I was super nervous going to play paper Magic. Even just at Friday Night Magic was really intimidating for me. I think I've talked about this on social media a little bit before too.
Yeah.
I think being also one of the only women in this space is a little bit intimidating. It's you go there's not that many people that look like you. Even though I went with very good friends, you don't always just get to play your friends. You have to play people that you don't know. And sometimes the people at the stores have been playing each other for a really long time. They all sort of know each other. And they talk to each other between games. And you're like, I know the 2 people I came with and that's it. I'm brand new here. And then, there's the intimidating part of if you're Arena first, you have to make sure you remember all the triggers.
Oh my gosh,
paper play. The Arena, it doesn't really do for you, but it assists you with phasing a lot. So in paper, it's just really kind of intimidating at first to make sure that you'll remember everything, along with the added pressure of I don't want to look like a stupid girl. I don't want to look like it, nobody thinks you're a stupid girl, but it's kind of some added self-pressure that I put on myself when I started to go. So I was very, very nervous for a while. And I think right before COVID, I went to my first Magic Fest in Reno. And it was a really, really great experience. And I think I was really finally starting to get comfortable with paper play. Modern is actually my favorite format.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm really, really excited to go back to paper and play some Modern tournaments.
Oh, I used to love the hell out of Modern. I used to play it for a long time. It felt like what sucked into my local area, because we used to have such a big Modern scene. When War of the Spark and Modern Horizons 1 came out, it sort of killed my local scene. Same with Legacy too. It killed it. And it had to do with so many of the bannings that were happening back and forth, and people are just getting fed up of spending all this money to make, the best deck, and like, oh, it's banned. What's the point now?
Right. I definitely have a pet deck in Modern that I will probably play as long as it's even semi-viable. But I love it so much, I just can't wait. Humans. I really enjoy Modern Humans.
What colors are modern Humans? Is it
it's
Esper?
5-color.
Oh, 5-color? Oh, okay.
Humans. Yeah, it's just like Cavern of Souls and all of the colorless tribal lands, Ziggurat.
Yeah.
So you can play just all of the best humans in the format. And it's a lot of fun. I can't wait to update that deck, and hopefully it's still viable.
Yeah.
I know there's a couple people. It's like Eli Loveman is like the godfather of the humans deck. He plays it a ton in Modern, and I can't wait to see how they've updated the list, and then I can make some of those changes and whip it back out after COVID.
Rick isn't legal in Modern, is he? The Secret Lair Walking Dead one?
No, I think it's only legal in
Legacy.
Commander.
Oh, Commander only?
Is it Legacy legal? I thought it was Commander only. I don't mess with Legacy. It's too expensive for me. But.
Yeah, I got into Legacy at a time where it was expensive, but holy crap, nowhere near what it is now. I got in right before like all the prices started skyrocketing, and it sucked because when that happened, like it started slowly killing our Legacy scenes. Our LGS was like, you can proxy up to 20 cards, right?
Oh wow.
Something like that, and it was mainly lands, right? Because no one could afford the lands or fetch lands or anything, so it's
ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand it, and I'm fortunate. Between my collection and my partner's collection, we have some staples. Sorry, my heater just kicked on. Let me know if you can hear that.
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay, we have some Legacy staples, so I might be able to pick up playing Legacy if I ever wanted to. But I think the land base is just what's really intimidating. So pricey.
It really, I guess it depends on what deck too, because when I built Legacy Elves, I just got in the Gaia's Cradles way before they skyrocketed. And the last few cards I had left were the dual lands. So I'm like, I don't want to shell out another couple $100 for dual lands. So I just ended up using shock lands, and I never had any issues because it's a combo deck anyway, right? So
that's true.
You should win by turn 2, turn 3. It doesn't matter, if you're shocking yourself.
Right. Is it I don't know much about Legacy Elves. Is it mono green or is it a multicolor? Is it?
It does use some black for some of its sideboard.
That makes sense.
But for the main board, at least at the time, this was a couple years ago. I don't know what it's like now. At least at the time, it was mono green for the main board, but there were some black cards for the sideboard, and I'd have to look up my list. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was.
There's a Golgari Elves list in Modern that hasn't been particularly viable in a little bit, but it probably runs some of the same, whatever Legacy staples are Modern legal, I'm sure are crossing over into that Modern deck.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember when they printed Collected Company, I was so excited because then it's like, oh crap, I could build a Modern Elves deck. And Modern Elves was viable for a little while there, and then
it's gone through phases. And I like I said, I haven't played in about a year, but right when I was playing before COVID, I didn't see anyone on Modern Elves. I proxied it actually when I was trying to find my first Modern list. I was like, Elves sounds like a lot of fun. I just took to the Humans list a little bit more than the Elves list.
What was it about Humans that you liked? And I can't even remember a lot of the cards in it. It was Meddling Mage. I know it was one card you played in it. But Thalia's Lieutenant.
Meddling Mage, Thalia's Lieutenant, Thalia, Noble Hierarch, Reflector Mage, Mantis Rider. Mantis Rider is a pretty big deal.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's really my play style. I really love to play relatively straightforward aggro Magic the Gathering, and Humans was exactly what I was looking for. It was straightforward, especially for my first Modern deck, even though now I have a much better understanding and I'm sure I could play something a little bit more complicated. I just really took to it. So
no, aggro straightforward linear decks, they can even still be really tough to play. A lot of people downplay mono red and all that. like, mono red aggro, like, oh, it's easy mode. Yeah, maybe the first game can be easy, right? Because, you just burn through your deck. But that it's when the sideboarding really counts. And
decision making is still, I think, almost just as complicated as playing a combo deck. The timing is a little bit more straightforward if you're playing a combo deck or a control deck. I guess a control deck more so. The timing requires maybe a little bit more brain power because you need to decide when you're holding up your mana versus if you're playing an aggro deck. For the most part, when you're going to be using your resources, but you still have, I think, the same complex decision making of what your turn should be. So you just don't have to think about the timing quite as much.
Oh yeah, the other thing that I remember playing a lot of competitive Magic was when you were playing an aggro deck versus an aggro deck, and just that could be just as complicated as playing control versus control.
Yeah, especially you were just talking about burn. I think playing burn into burn is maybe not quite as simple as people give it credit for.
Oh yeah,
because I've run into that matchup in Historic, and even aggro versus aggro in Historic on Arena.
Because there can be so much math. Messy. Yeah, it can get messy, and there's so much math involved because you got to think like, oh, well, if I do this much damage, I've got this much in my hand, and they can potentially do this much, and there's just, it's pretty crazy. It can be insane. Yeah.
I'm definitely the type that will play. I'll play whatever I need to. If I'm, running into a tournament setting, I'll play the deck I need to. If that's a control deck or a combo deck, I'll play it. But if I have the choice to run an aggro deck in the meta, it's probably what I'll be playing.
So with you, how long did you say you started playing Modern again?
I started playing Modern right before the pandemic. I probably bought my deck maybe last December. So I had a good 2 or 3 months of playing. I played Humans and I played Infect, which is, I guess, a combo deck. So I know. It was cheap.
It's a cheap deck.
I was like, I just need something to take to a tournament. My friends were going, and I was like, fine, I'll just put together Infect and go.
So did you keep up with...
Very nerve-wracking.
Oh, yeah. Did you keep up with Modern at all during the pandemic? Like, did you play Magic Online or anything?
So I've dabbled in MTGO a little bit because I wanted to play Modern so badly. But my schedule is a little bit difficult. Like I work a full-time job and then stream and play Magic after work when I can. And my Twitch audience is really not invested in watching games on MTGO.
I don't blame them.
So I know it's hard to watch.
It is. It's hard to play.
So it was a really great experience to get to check it out and play some Modern just to... I updated my Humans list for MTGO after the release of... What was the set that General Cujo came out in?
Ikoria?
It was Ikoria.
I think
so I did update my Modern list after that release and played it on MTGO a little bit. But
I forgot about that card.
Yeah, it was just difficult. It was difficult for the stream.
Yeah.
So then I was trying to divide my time. I was like, I can only stream Arena, but I want to play MTGO on Modern, but I can't. I have to do it when I'm not working and not streaming and not making TikToks. So I just finally decided it was better for me to stick to Arena.
Oh, man. You want to talk about full-time job and then trying to do content creation. I'm right there with you. I've loved some of the stuff you've talked about with trying to juggle back and forth. It's a challenge. Like, it's so much. I think I was talking about it just the other day. It's like I need to set time to relax, and it doesn't count content because sometimes it'll be a day off work and I'm like, it's a chill day. I'll just make, my Instagram post for the next week and my TikToks, and instead of actually providing time for myself to relax and not I'm guilty do something. Of that. Yeah.
It happens.
I'm guilty of that because there's a lot of behind the scenes work that I do at the podcast. Like I'm trying to work on booking guests, think of topics and other stuff. And then Pixie and I, we've got Magic for Normies. So we try to come up with stuff for that. And just on top of, I barely stream now, but I can't even fit streaming into that because I'm also trying to do another venture of writing my first D&D book right now. So
I'm gonna reverse podcast guest question you and ask
Sure.
you how much time a week do you spend doing podcast related things between Magic for Normies and this content? I'm just curious. I always like to hear from other creators, like what it entails behind the scenes.
Well, it's gotten a lot easier over the years because I've been doing this 5 years now, and it's so it's a lot less time. But what I work on is like I feel like the majority of my time is probably spent just exploring other creators I want to bring on. Because, I mean, since Arenas happened, there's been an explosion of Magic creators, and it's awesome. But it's also, I want to make sure that I sort of vet out the creators and make sure, it's, what's a delicate way of putting it? You want to make sure they're not bad or anything. You know what I mean? Like,
I understand.
Like, I've had a few people that have guested on the podcast, like, they were good at first, and then a few months later, some drama happens, and you're like, oh, shit. And, so I want to try to avoid that. So it's people out there listening, like, I know when I first started this, I'd like to try to interview content creators, big and small, and all that stuff, but after being burned a few times, I got to be a lot more careful. So that's probably what takes up the most amount of my time. Editing now is pretty straightforward because I don't really edit much. Like, I'll edit the audio levels and all that stuff and make it sound better. But as far as editing the conversation, nope. Whatever happens, happens.
That's perfect. I love that. Yeah. I couldn't. Video editing, I think, is what takes the longest amount of time. I finally was like, I need to contract someone for editing for YouTube.
I almost want someone to contract for social media because I feel like I spend more time doing social media than doing anything. And it's not like I'm even advertising my content all the time. It's like I'm trying to get my presence out there, and it's like
I want to contract someone to filter my messages
before
I read them so that I can stop reading all the mean ones and I can just read the nice ones, and then I'll feel better. That's what I want to do. That's my next step, is like inbox management.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up too, is like I've seen on Twitter you talking about like the harassment you receive. It's and I think what people like myself don't ever understand, like as a guy, right? It's we don't fully understand the amount of harassment women get. And what really opened my eyes to it was when my wife started doing online gaming more, and the amount of harassment she received. Because it's you know what's happening out there, but when it happens to someone close to you, you're like, oh shit, fuck all that noise.
It's very bizarre, and it definitely is not constant. It's just, sometimes something happens and you're just like, man, why me? Why now? I'm just living my best life, trying to, make content and enjoy this hobby that in theory pretty much everyone in my social circles loves. It's like everyone I follow on Twitter, everyone pretty much on Twitch we're all Magic fans. So sometimes I'm just like, why don't we all just love Magic together? Why you gotta be mean about it?
People suck. They do. And it's
Go ahead, sorry.
No. It's just frustrating hearing that stuff because it doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense in the fact that those people that do that are sad, and their lives could just be just as miserable, and they're lashing out.
It does. I think, Magic, even still, you go to a Magic event and it is not the most diverse place that you've ever experienced. It's getting better.
Oh yeah, it's gotten way better.
It's getting so much more inclusive and awesome. But I think, there's always some reticence behind, seeing people that you're not used to at an event from some people. And I understand that change is difficult, but you would also just think that it's like, hey, more people who love Magic. That's cool. But I guess that's not always the first reaction that people have to seeing like new and different people start enjoying their sport. Especially like this is a really hard concept for me to grasp because like I don't think of myself as like the world's best Magic player. but I'm okay. I'm pretty good. And I think a lot of people, my friends, remind me that it's very difficult for some people to see someone come into their hobby with not very much time under their belt. I've been playing
Mm-hmm.
Magic for maybe 2 years, and then be better than them. First off, don't look like them, and then second off, be better than them at
Oh
something
yeah,
that
that
they
can be
have
hard.
devoted a
Yeah.
really long amount of time to. And I don't really like to think of myself like that, because I just like to think that we're like all enjoying Magic at our own level and our own pace, and doing what we want to do. But my friends do sometimes remind me that that's just a really difficult concept for people sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, and you're 100% right. I mean, that's not just Magic related, but just almost anything where, um, you know, it's you have some people that have been playing the game since the very beginning, and yet they could never ever do as well as you, or never get to Mythic and Arena, right? You know, maybe because they're just not that good, or whatever else. You know,
Or they just have a different style of
yeah.
play, or they enjoy something different. I mean, that's one of the great things about Magic is there's so many different
Oh my
ways
gosh,
to
yes.
enjoy playing. There's incredible casual formats. There's formats for people who just want to build decks. And then, there's formats for hyper competitive people like myself who just want to win. That's all I want. I just want to win. That's it. That's all
No,
I
that's
care about. I
okay.
want to win Magic, and that's how I want to play. But if you're the type of person who wants to make the most creative decks, the most original concepts, I think that's super cool. And I love that we have a hobby and we play a game that is able to be played in all those diverse ways.
Oh my god, yeah, that's got to be like the best strength of Magic as just a game in general, just the amount of formats. Because I look at other popular card games, like, you know, you've got Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, and they have their different formats, you know, like standard, legacy, whatever, extended, and all that stuff. But they don't have formats where, just like you said, that you can creative formats, right? Like, I think of EDH as a very creative format. I think of Cube as a very creative format as well too.
Highly, highly original.
Yeah. And you just
But Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have that. You were just talking
yeah.
about Yu-Gi-Oh even, and some of my friends have recently been invested in Yu-Gi-Oh, but I don't know enough about it to really
Yeah,
speak
neither
to it,
do
but it
I.
sounds
Yeah.
like there's maybe only like two or three primary formats, and I think both of the two primary formats involve almost the entire history of catalog of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that have been available, so there's no rotation like exists in Magic. So obviously there's gonna be like the best cards, the most powerful cards, and you're
Yeah.
gonna see them over and over and over, where Magic has great formats that I think lend itself to um, being updated more frequently, which
Mhm.
which brings in some creativity. And then, like you said, formats like EDH. And even EDH, you have casual EDH and competitive
Yep.
EDH, depending on, what type of game you want to
Yeah,
play,
who
which
you
is
play
really
with
cool.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's what's great. And I when I had Gavin Verhey on the podcast last year, I like one of my first questions to him, you know, is like, this game's going on over 25 years. How the hell have you guys not run out of ideas yet? Like, seriously, it boggles my mind. You think they would have, you know, run out of the well, or dried up the well or something. He said, and I quote, something along the lines of, "We have so many mechanics and ideas that we have like another 10 years worth of content, at least just written on a board somewhere." And I'm just like, oh my God.
I think about that with set releases and all the really exciting theming that goes into the sets.
Yeah.
Like Eldraine was fairy tale themed,
Oh,
and
I
then
loved it.
Kaldheim was kind of like Vikings,
Hmm.
and Nordic themed, which was really cool. And then, but even just if you think about that, it's like I can think of like 20 themes off the top of my head, and I'm like, that would be dope in Magic the Gathering. Let's make it happen. I can't make it happen personally,
I know,
but
right?
it'll come around eventually, I hope. So.
Oh, the D&D Magic set. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait for it.
So this is an interesting time because we're in spoiler season for
Modern Horizon.
Modern Horizon 2. So this is one of my reverse podcast guest questions.
Sure.
Are you one of the people who really gets engaged in spoiler season?
Um, Depends on the set, really. Like, like for Kaldheim, I wasn't that engaged with it, and kind of same with Strixhaven. Modern Horizons, um, kind of, sort of. I mean, a little bit. Maybe because I know more people that have gotten preview cards for it, And but D&D, it's like when they revealed as of the recording here, they just revealed the Dritzdord and the Bruiner and the Loth Spider Queen cards, and I was just like, oh my god, just freaking out about it.
I get really excited during spoiler season for new art. I tend to be one of the people who like mostly avoids spoilers because my investment in Magic is so primarily like I just want to play. Yeah. Spoiler season for me is like not as valuable because I'm like I want to have the cards digitally in my hands and I want to play with them. But the art is what gets me the most.
Oh, that's excited. What got me playing the game to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah, the Spider Queen. Oh my god, she looks so good. I'm so excited. That art was beautiful.
And not at all how I pictured her at all when I read the books. I pictured her like not like pretty or anything, just completely ugly and disgusting.
Like scary, yeah.
But no, I'm so excited. I used to be way more invested in it when I used to do set reviews because I sort of had to be and all that. But now that I stopped doing those, I'm just sort of like, I don't mind taking it as a casual approach, and I get more excited about it because. Not that I purposely ignore the spoilers, but when I see a card or something, and I'm like, I'm more excited about it because I'm like, oh my god, it does what again?
Yeah.
So
I don't trust myself enough to do set reviews. I've thought about it several times. I'm like, man, I really should because it's popular content.
Yeah,
but also
it's a lot of work.
I'll just
oh my
be
gosh,
completely wrong about everything. Like I totally expect myself to just make assumptions based on I don't know. What I think, and then it turns out I get it in my hand, and I'm like, yeah, that was so off the wall.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm critical of myself, so I would hate that. I would be like, you really fucked up.
Oh no, yeah, you'll get the people coming out of the woodworks telling you, oh, you're wrong on this card and that card and all that stuff. It's when I did my Throne of Eldraine set review, I looked at Oko and I'm like, it's good. I don't think it'll see that much play, and then I'm like, oh, I completely got that one wrong.
It happens.
Yeah.
I remember talking about Oko before release too, and I was like, it seems too good. I called Oko. I was like, that one seems a little bit too good. But for the most part, other cards that have seen tons and tons of repetitive play, I just wouldn't have even looked at twice.
Yeah. No, it just goes to show like none of us can guess this right. Like there's some cards you'll never think that will break the format at all.
So I have a ton of respect for people who like brew competitive standard lists or other formats as well. But that's just never really been a side of Magic that I've had too much interest in. But the people who sit down, come up with the combos, come up with the creative ways that cards interact together, I think is so creative. So smart.
Oh my gosh.
And so cool. And I'm so glad that they do it because then I can be like, oh, well, now I can become an expert at playing this deck, but I don't have to become an expert at making this deck.
Yeah.
But I really respect those types of players.
Yeah, it's tough. I know I've tried my hand at brewing like standard decks back in the day, and it's definitely hard. It's definitely a very hard skill to learn, especially like when you're new starting out, and it's I don't exactly enjoy it too much. I'm like you, like I'll just copy a list. With Commander though, that's different. I don't mind building my own list with that because I purposely build Commander decks for the most part not to be optimized because to me it's not as fun. I sort of want to make it more creative and more flavorful instead of just it being super good and just winning.
I just brewed, and I use that term loosely, my second Commander list ever. I'm not a huge Commander player, which is okay. And I just get really caught up on like I need to have the best cards and I want them to be the best. So even when I'm brewing something like Commander, I'm like looking at all the lists that exist and I'm trying to cross-reference. I'm like, okay, so which cards are in all of them? Which cards are like clearly key fundamentals to what I'm trying to create, and I think I just get pretty caught up in the min-maxing side of Magic the Gathering.
Oh no, I know what you mean. It's like I've got a few Commander decks that are definitely like optimized as best as I could be without making them competitive EDH. But now that I'm on like brewing up deck number 22, 23, I'm sort of like, I don't care if it's optimized.
Right,
Plus,
right.
it'll save me money too if I don't buy all the most expensive stuff. So I totally understand. Like for the first few decks, yeah, I totally get why people would want to have the best of the best. When you get to like deck 20 to 30, you're like, you know, it's okay.
At that point, you're like, I just want to make it fun, and I want to make it have like flavor and
memorable.
I had a little bit of that. I'm brewing an Emil, the unicorn commander.
Oh yeah, the life gain one.
The blink. She has the blink effect. She's from Jumpstart, the Jumpstart unicorn.
Okay. I'm thinking of a different one. Okay. Oh yeah, the blink one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the Selesnya one, right?
It is. She's a Selesnya commander. And I do occasionally get very caught up in the like, but maybe I could put more unicorns in here. Like, that'd be cool. Like, what if I just put in this really bad unicorn card? Just one. And then I'm like, that card is not good. That card is not good, Emma. Like, stop putting in bad unicorns so that it looks nice.
you should be allowed to have at least one bad unicorn in the commander deck.
I'm going to have at least one bad unicorn. Actually, that's really funny. When we mentioned how I first played Magic when I was like 15 years old. I had a unicorn themed tribal deck at 15.
Nice.
That was my very first Magic deck.
What set was that?
I don't think it was legal in any format. It was probably just like a bunch of unicorn cards shoved into a 60 card deck that we played like on the floor at school, you know. And it was not good. It was very bad. But I had a good time playing it with my friends for like a week before we all like moved on to a new hobby and stuff like that. But so I'm sort of reminiscing over my very, very first unicorn deck by building a unicorn commander deck.
Well, that's good. That's good. I can remember my first deck too. It was like a mono green worms deck or something.
Nice.
Back in Urza Saga, and it was absolutely terrible because I couldn't play anything by like unless I had 6 or 7 lands out. But I didn't care. I didn't know any better.
Fine. As long as you're having fun. I mean, it's always very satisfying. It's still satisfying when you get to play that like massive creature. That's so powerful. It's like the peak. Like I've reached the peak Magic the Gathering when you play like, I don't know, a Craterhoof Behemoth or something ridiculous.
So much fun. Yeah, that's why I loved Legacy Elves, was just having like a crap ton of elves out, then combo out Craterhoof Behemoth out, and you're just like, okay, I win.
That's what you do in Historic right now.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
how
much.
Historic Elves plays. It's great. I love that deck.
Oh yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah. I cannot wait for them to finally get Heritage Druid out for Historic. Oh, that would just make Historic Elves just disgusting at that point.
Really good. What is the other card everyone talks about coming to Historic Elves? Is it Shaman of the Pack?
Shaman of the Pack would be good. Yeah, that'd be for Golgari. The other one would be Nettle Sentinel. Would be really good.
That will make. I think Historic Elves is actually already pretty good, but it could be better.
Oh yeah, we need all the legacy stuff for it.
Oh yeah, just put legacy in Historic. It's fine.
Just do it. I mean, they're pretty much.
I didn't say that.
I mean, they're pretty much doing it slowly in a sense anyway with the Historic anthologies. It's like at this point, I can't see how they would even put in something like Pioneer and it be successful, because the anthologies are doing way better and they make it more exciting too.
I think Historic is actually a really well curated format. I mean, there's been some problems that have been, addressed over the past little bit. I mean, even recently with the Thassa's Oracle ban, but I think that overwhelmingly Historic has been pretty well curated.
Oh yeah, no, I enjoy it. I don't play ranked anymore on Arena just to calm my blood pressure and all that.
I feel that. I shouldn't.
so I mainly just do the play queue, and I'll do my daily quests or just play some jank that I found somewhere online. And but yeah, some of my favorite decks on Historic are just like the Coco Angels right now. Love playing that. List. So much fun, just gaining so much life, and it's great that Magic has finally made Lifelink actually useful after so many years of it being so bad.
I know. That deck is very satisfying though, when all of a sudden you're like, I have 153 life. Fuck you, opponent. It's just like, how are you going to get through this? And then they're playing like Tainted Pack combo, and you're like, oh, well, that was
Oh,
how, but okay,
fuck my life.
that's fine. Yeah, not anymore. They can't do that anymore. So maybe Coco Angels is about to see a little uptick.
Maybe. So I want to get back to your content creation in terms of like doing full-time job, you're a Twitch partner now, and you talked about TikToks, Instagram, all that stuff. You had a few posts out talking about finding balance and all that stuff, and even there was a post you did, I want to say a week or two ago, talking about how you were being stressed out about trying to like get to Pro Magic and all that. And I mean, I know Pro Magic is like completely gone now, but how do you sort of deal and juggle with all those responsibilities too? Like what goes through your, how do you do it essentially?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I have to remind myself that it's not necessarily responsibilities, that a lot of the things I put on myself with content are just like personal pressure from goals that the world is not going to end if I don't do it. And that's a very hard thing because I set incredibly high standards for myself
Mm-hmm.
consistently, and content goals. But then there's goals like playing Magic at a higher level. I mean, now Pro Magic is a little bit in flux. I'm not really sure where that's going to go, but for a
Oh, who
very long
knows?
time,
Yeah.
if you'd asked me like, what is my goal with Magic, I would have been like, I want to play in the MPL. Well, now that's not going to happen. So now I have to come up with a
Yeah.
new, way too lofty goal that I'm probably never going to reach. But I'm
Like
sure
win
that
a
I will
GP
come
or
up with
something?
one. Yeah. So I haven't thought, I'm trying not to think about it. I'm like
Okay.
actively
Okay.
trying not to set a pointlessly high goal for myself, but I'm sure that I will. As far as content creation, responsibilities, and it's not even really responsibilities because I really enjoy producing the content that I do. And for the most part, it never feels like I have to be hitting deadlines. I'm usually just creating content that I love and find enjoyable and trying to stick to a schedule. For
Mm-hmm.
things like Instagram, I'm aiming to produce X amount of content every week. But for the most part, I just really like taking fun pictures. And I almost always have more content than I can post on Instagram. I think committing to the streaming schedule is one of the more difficult things for me just because this is weird, but streaming takes the most amount of hours for the least amount of return.
I can see
As
that.
far as
Yeah.
content goes. But it's also one of the most fun uses of my hours because it's the chance that I actually get to talk to people about the thing that I love directly. They come into
Yeah.
my stream and we have a conversation about what I love doing, just playing Magic. So it's very rewarding in terms of social interaction, but it's not as rewarding in terms of like content or monetary return, which Instagram and YouTube and TikTok are all better uses of your time in strictly business sense.
I see what
So
you mean.
it's a little bit difficult just organizing all of it because some of them are more fun and some of them are more valuable. So making sure to find the fine line between those. Did I answer your question? I
Yeah.
started on the topic of Pro Magic and then
No. It
on the
seemed pretty
topic of
well. No, it seemed pretty well answered. You brought up a good point on just you know streaming seems to like be the least amount of returns you find. Doing all this on top of a full-time job, how do you deal with burnout?
you just don't burn out. You just try really hard to not burn out. I've recently been like, oh my God, I'm committed to a 6-hour stream tonight, and I really just need to like do some laundry or something instead.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to stop harping on myself for when I need to take some time off just to get life things done. Or sometimes work happens. I'll be working way too late at my job on something important and I'll have to cancel a scheduled content post or something like that. And I'm trying to remind myself again that the world's not going to end if I don't make the content. But there is, and I'm sure you understand this, that looming pressure that you put on yourself. It's like, if I'm not making my content goals, I'm never going to grow as a creator. The same thing with working towards higher level or pro play in Magic. It's like, if I don't hit Mythic this month, I'm not ever going to be noticed or invited to any big tournaments, which is not even really how it works. But somehow you wind up with that little voice like in the back of your head that's like telling you that you need to be doing everything all the time.
No, so. And you bring up a good point again about just looming pressure, because it's also that FOMO, right? Where you feel like if you take a night off, it's, now your content may not be noticed as much, or, you know, the algorithm's going to mess you up. Or if you're not streaming for a night, it feels like, oh man, people aren't going to be able to find you. It's like, that's how I felt big time, like because I streamed a hell of a lot last year, because I think everybody did, because just the pandemic. And now this year I've been taking a much slower approach at streaming. And now it's, you know, you start to get a little worried, like, well, people are going to find me less and less. But that's why I'm trying to up my game on other social media stuff. But yeah, it's that is one of the things that sucks about content creation, is just that constant fear of, well, if I'm not doing XYZ, then, you know, no one's going to see me type thing.
Content creation is so strange too, because it's like you do everything that you can to get your content out there, and you probably experience this too. And then sometimes people like show up out of the woodwork to like hate you for it, for like producing content and trying to make good stuff and then get eyes on it. And it's like, you try doing this, you spend so many hours trying to make really good, interesting things, and then, you know, you just hope that people see it, and then people come out of the woodwork and they're like, why do you want people to watch your content? That makes you a bad person. And you're just like,
or it makes you conceited or narcissistic and all that.
Yeah. You're just like, I'm just trying to share the thing that I love. And obviously, because I spend, you know, 40 hours a week working, and then an additional like 35, 40 hours a week making content, of course I want people to see it. I'm not spending all that time for nobody to look at the hard work I've done. It's the same thing at my job. I'm an artist for my work, and obviously I want to make great work, and I would love for a lot of people to see it. That would be great. It's like the dream, I think, for most people.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's that whole thing of another thing I want to bring up. There's also the other side of content creation where you feel like you could do everything right and no one sees your stuff.
That's true.
And that is some of the stuff that's hardest to do, especially when you're brand new starting out. And what I've always found is, especially when podcasting, the podcasting world can be a little bit fickle, where there could be an episode I release and I think it's the greatest episode I ever had, you know, really awesome interview, did really well. And, you know, the downloads are like maybe 1,000 or something like that, right? So, and then you do another episode where you're just like, it didn't feel that great or whatever, and it just blows up in terms of downloads and views. You're like, what the fuck? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Do that with TikTok all the time. I'll make something like, this is the funniest shit I have ever made, and then it's like, nobody watched that TikTok. And then it's another TikTok that I like recorded on my phone in like terrible quality, with bad audio, and it's like everyone in the world watched that TikTok specifically, and you're like,
Yeah.
But I guess that comes back to what we were talking too about, like the FOMO of content, is like you feel like you need to be making everything because you never know which is the content that people will like. Yeah. And which one is the one that the algorithm will serve. It's not just what people like. You're also dealing with, you know, the different algorithms on the sites that you're using to push your content, and hoping you've published something at the right time of day, and the right day of the week. So it's all of those factors playing into your viewership.
Sorry, a flying ant just landed on my monitor.
My God. That's like my worst nightmare. Ants should not be allowed to have wings.
Right? They shouldn't. God, how are they fucking evolved into that? They need to stop. They need to just go away. Next we'll have...
They're like inhumanly strong, and they have more teamwork than any other species, and now they get to fly too. This is not fair.
Right, yeah. They're strong, they're smart as hell, like when working together, and now they can fly. It's like, no. Nope.
That's too good. I'll just be an ant in my next life. It's fine.
I don't know if I'd want to be an ant in my next life. I think I'd like, the one thing I'd love to be, I'd have to travel back in time a little bit. It would be a cat that is one of my grandmother's cats, because they are treated like the best life you can imagine.
Specifically, your grandmother's cat.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
She doesn't have any cats right now. She's getting too old to take care of them and all that. But back 20, 30 years ago, I'd love to be one of her cats. Like I could see myself wanting to be reincarnated as something like that.
That's the best thing. I love that so much.
Think about
very wholesome.
I mean, shit. Think about just most house cats in general. They have they have the fucking life, right? They just go to the bathroom, sleep, chase lizards and shit, and and then just do whatever the hell they want. You can't tell them what to do.
Be a cat. Yeah. Being a cat would be great. I agree. Imagine being we're like totally off topic, but being a cat in like ancient Egypt where cats were like
worshipped
gods,
and all that.
Gods. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome too.
God. Yeah. It because I've got 3 cats and I freaking love each and every one of them like my own children and all that stuff. And hell, I'd love to be one of them because they're spoiled as hell. Oh my God.
I'm not allowed to have pets in my apartment.
So that sucks.
I'm living a sad life right now.
You'll get there
I might
soon.
actually move so I can get a pet.
Oh, where do you live on the West Coast?
I live in San Francisco Bay Area, so like the most expensive place.
Yeah, I was just about to say, holy crap, that sounds expensive as hell.
It's very expensive. I think this is one thing that comes up too when thinking about content. I mean, obviously I have a super cool job and I love my full-time job, but it has crossed my mind in the past. It's like, what would life be like if I made content full-time? That would be super cool. But I'd have to move. I mean, there's no way I can live in the Bay Area and make content. So every now and then I've been like, what if I just tell my mom I'm moving home and like go move in with my parents and become a Twitch streamer full time? That would be wild. But it's like that weird alternate universe that you think about that kind of exists in your mind.
I feel like you'd be able to do that if you like struck it real big, like Command Zone big or something, or Tolarian big.
Yeah, I think maybe YouTube. There's a lot of potential on YouTube for opportunity like that, and maybe on Twitch as well. But Twitch subscriber revenue is sometimes really good and sometimes not so good. Depends on the month. So it's a fickle mistress.
Yeah, that's another scary thing about content creation. Like, because I've thought like if I ever could do it full time, it's like no, it's too volatile. It's It's like relying on Patreon or subs or anything like that, and it's too scary to even think about because it's and plus you think about not just the amount of money but also like health benefits, right? You're like health insurance,
you don't
dental,
have any of that.
No, 401k, none of that stuff. So it's like it's a lot more expensive than people think of because it's I've got 2 young daughters and one of them wants to be YouTuber or whatever, and
nice.
And I tell her like,
Very
I mean,
cool.
that's great and all that stuff, but I tell her like, you still got to stay in school. You can't. This is being YouTube stars just like anything in entertainment, right? You're gonna have 1,000, hundreds of thousands of people trying to make it big as like a celebrity, right, or as an actor, actress, and yet only a small percentage are ever gonna make it. And all that.
Yeah, and it requires a lot of the skills that you can learn in school. It requires, I mean, especially with YouTube, you need to understand analytics, search engine optimization, and all that good stuff. Marketing and promotion. If you have some basic art skills or design skills, it's massive for being a creator. So there's tons of great things that you can learn that help your content journey. Oh
yeah, for sure. There was another thing I wanted to bring up about you. You are into cars?
I am into cars.
Let's talk a little bit about that. I don't really know a whole lot about cars and all that stuff. Like I
have on a shirt with a car on it right now.
Nice. Like I'm pretty much a dummy when it comes to cars, but one of my best friends, he is like a car nut. Like he's one of those. He knows like the history of every single car ever made. I'm like, I don't understand your freaking encyclopedic knowledge and all that. So what is it that do you like do project cars or anything like that or?
Yeah, we do. So I started to be interested in cars before I could even drive. I think I developed my interest in cars from a music video, to be honest.
Ooh.
And then I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I love cars now. And he was like, why? I don't really like cars that much. Like, you don't have anyone
Your
in your
dad wasn't a
family
car
that
guy?
likes cars. He has an older car. For anyone who likes cars, my dad has a 1959 MGA, which is a British sports car, which is very cool. But he's not. My dad's just really handy. He's not a mechanic or anything. He can just fix anything. But he was like, yeah, I don't know where this interest in cars came from. I'm like, no, Dad, I'm cool now. I like cars. So we bought my first sports car before I could drive.
What was
and
it?
It wasn't even that fancy. It was a Mitsubishi Eclipse, which is like a sports car. It's like a 4-cylinder.
It was sports looking.
Yeah, it looks sporty. And I was like, I like this car because they drove it in the Fast and Furious movies. And
oh man,
I put a spoiler on the car that was so big that the like hydraulic thing that holds the trunk up could no longer hold the trunk up. So I had to prop it up with a stick every time I opened the trunk. And now I'm really fortunate that my boyfriend is really into cars. He has a Nissan 350Z that I've sort of co-opted. And
oh my god, I'm jealous.
A bunch of modifications too. And we also recently bought a 1987 Toyota Supra that was not running when we purchased it, that we are doing as a project car.
That's cool.
Right now, that's gonna make a nasty amount of horsepower when we're finished. It's turboed, so it's fast. It makes the great blow-off valve noises. It's super fun.
So before we get into the Supra, I want to ask about the 350Z. That's like, like I said, I don't know a lot about cars, but there's that one car model 350Z. Like I have looked at that forever and like always wanted, because I love the body of it. Right.
Yes, it's a lovely looking car.
What year is it?
It's a 2006.
Oh, nice. Well, aren't they up to like 370Z or something, or is it still 350?
The 350s and the 370s were sort of crossover in years that they were released. I believe the 370 has a little bit. It's a little bit more powerful. It has some extra features. But now Nissan has announced the 400Z. Actually, I need to confirm that they were released in the same years.
Okay. Because we'll get some car nut saying,
someone's gonna be like,
some car nut will be like, no, actually it was released, such. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like I said, I
am almost positive, but if I'm wrong, that's fine. Someone is gonna comment and let me know that I was wrong.
Right.
But the 400Z has been announced, which will be the next generation of the Z car from Nissan, which is pretty cool.
That's going to be my midlife crisis car that I want to get. One of those, because I've got a hybrid right now, which I like
hybrids, honestly. I like that.
I love it. Like I love the amount of like how long I can have a gas tank for. But I bought it originally because I was commuting back and forth to work, but then I started working from home back in 2019, and now I'm just like, I fill up maybe once a month now. So I'm like, shit. So I bought a hybrid for almost no reason. But my next car that I want to get, and I told my wife this already, and this won't happen for like years, is I want to get a Tesla. If not a Tesla, then something all electric. I want an all electric car.
I think Teslas are really awesome. Teslas are actually, they can be really fast. Electric cars.
Oh yeah, I love the inside of them. Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're really nice. I mean, they're expensive, of course. But
I know.
If you ever wind up getting a Tesla, spend the extra money and get the one that has self-driving, because you can just like do absolutely nothing. You can like read a book in your car on your commute, and that's the coolest thing in the whole world. So.
Right.
But I mean, back on the Supra. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. You're fine. But no, I wanted to go to the Supra. I wanted to ask. And this is something that I'm always fascinated by. So you buy a project car, right, and it doesn't work. What is it that fascinates you about wanting to get it working and like essentially dumping money into something that, it's going to require a lot of money to get it work, depending on what's wrong with it, right?
Yes. I think For me too, it's like a really exciting learning experience. Like I said, it's one of those things too where it's people I think expect a lot from you on the scene. It's like if you're a girl who's interested in gaming or a girl who's interested in cars, it's like name every part of the car that has ever existed to prove.
Oh God, yeah, yeah,
like,
I can see that.
uh, so, but I always enjoy something challenging. I think that's maybe why I'm drawn to things like cars and gaming, and I'm always looking for weird ways to prove myself, I guess. So learning something exciting like working on this project car has been great. I have really, really big like do-it-yourself energy too.
Yeah.
So my boyfriend and I are digging around in the engine of the car, and I'm like, let's just take out the whole CPS and open it and see what's wrong. I'm like, I'll figure out a way to get it out of there.
Oh, damn,
Next thing you know,
nice.
I'm like up to my shoulders in the engine of the car, like trying to reach a bolt that I can't reach. And my boyfriend is like, "What are you doing? I don't know what page of the manual we're on." And I'm like, "I'll just get it out. It's fine. Like, I can do this.
We'll figure it out. Just as long as you remember how you took it out, you can put it back in.
So long as I remember. So it's fun for me because I love a good hands-on project like that, and I'm learning a ton. And I don't know, for a long time I was like afraid to admit that because people will judge you really hard. They like expect you to already know everything about everything. But it's really exciting to learn new things. And it's the same thing with Magic and with building cars, is that the process of just learning some new skill is like the best thing in the world. You've just expanded your mind and challenged yourself in a new way. And it does take money. The Supra we bought for a really good price. So there's actually a chance that if we wanted to, we could resell it at a profit. But I think we're going to keep it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Next one we get. This one's technically for my boyfriend. The next one we do is for me. I know what I want already.
What is it that you want?
I want a shitbox rusty Trans Am from the 70s. Like the shittiest looking car in the whole world. I want it to, and then I'm going to put a crate motor in it, and it's going to look like so gross that no one's ever going to expect anything from it, and then it's just going to be fast as hell.
So when you pull up to someone in a sports car, like at a stoplight, and you rev your engine,
and their car is like shiny and beautiful, and my car like has a hole in the fender, and I don't know. I'm just really excited about the grungy aesthetic of.
Isn't that like Vin Diesel's car in what, Fast and Furious 8, where they were like driving that shitbox in the beginning in Cuba or something?
I don't actually think I saw Fast 8, but it's very possible. Because
I think in the beginning of that movie, Vin and what's her name? His girlfriend, his wife.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I can't think of her name. Michelle Rodriguez, is it? Maybe
that's the
actress. I can't remember the character's name.
Yeah, it is Rodriguez.
Yeah, because she died in spoilers. She died in the fourth movie, then somehow magically survived.
Yeah, and then she came back. Yeah.
No, but yeah, that's what happened in the first 20 minutes of Fast 8 was that they were in Cuba. Of course, Vin somehow gets roped into a car race and has to drive the shittiest car ever, and it catches on fire. And
I like the sort of concept of the punk aesthetic of a sort of beater shitbox of a car. That appeals to me. I don't need anything shiny. I just want something cool and cheap and fast.
Oh man, that reminds me, if I ever took a project car, one to make it fast or whatever, I'd probably want to get something like a station wagon with the wood panels on the side of it. Something like Clark Griswold's vacation car and all that stuff.
Yes.
It looks so bad and ugly.
I love that. There's something about just putting some passion into a weird looking or kind of ugly car. I just think that's very exciting.
Man, you kind of want me getting to do that now. Maybe one day.
You should. If you have a driveway spot or a garage spot, and you can park it out there and mess with it once a week, once every couple weeks.
I'd have to get my buddy involved because he's the car guru nut. I'm all
yeah. Well, then you have a project with your friend.
Yeah. No, it'd be fun. Yeah, so, oh god, I freaking, like I said, I don't know shit about cars, but there's certain ones that I just really love. I want to get a Tesla one day, or an all-electric car, because by the time I get one, I'm sure there's going to be more electric cars out there. Like an electric 350Z, that'd be fucking amazing.
That'd be super cool. I don't know if Nissan is yeah, they have the Nissan Leaf, right? Which is an electric car.
Oh, is it?
So I think that maybe one day there'll be some potential for an all electric Nissan sports car. I think it's the Leaf. Someone is going to come into these comments who knows everything about cars ever, and they're going to tell me I was wrong about everything, and that's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay
it happens.
If I don't know everything about everything.
And it's okay. It's okay. It's those people just they love to hear themselves talk. Type
and
thing.
It's all right too. I'm okay if other people are experts in topics and I'm still learning. That's fine.
I gladly admit to like my boss all that stuff. Like I don't know how smart you think I am, but I'm pretty dumb. All right, like
no,
like I'm dumb. All right, but
I get that.
No, but the thing that I've learned over the years is like trying to stay humble and listening to people who you know that are smarter than you and just understanding like, oh shit, because you can learn a lot that
mentorship
way.
is really valuable and important, and that's funny because that applies to working on cars. It applies to Magic the Gathering. If you find someone who knows a lot about what you're doing, just having people that you look up to in the communities and content creators that you look up to in the communities. I watch a ton of Magic content creators. I watch a ton of car content creators too. And that's what's super cool about being a content creator as well. Is that you hopefully get to make that really cool content that you admire for other people.
Oh yeah. No, that's one of the best things. Like I know I've helped out a bunch of people with just podcast tips and all that stuff, and it's great, helping out people like that. And no, I love teaching. That's one of my favorite things to do. Not just in content creation, but what I do for work too. I'm a network architect by day, so I do a lot of I'm in healthcare, so I work on a lot of networks and computers and hospitals across the nation and all that stuff. And so I love teaching our engineers like how to do stuff and all that. So it's great. It's great.
That's
I love
awesome.
teaching.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty can be pretty exhausting.
I imagine.
Yeah, dealing with hospitals and doctors all day. It's not very fun sometimes, but it is what it is. Pays the bills. But so there's another topic I wanted to bring up too, and this is something that I watched your video on it, but I also wanted to bring it to light on here because it's not something that I don't think I've ever talked about, and that's NFTs and Bitcoin and crypto and all that. I liked your video on it. Explain like real quick what NFTs are, if you can, for the listeners who may not have watched your video or anything.
Yeah, so NFT stands for non-fungible token, and it's sort of the terminology that people have been using in the cryptocurrency world, specifically referring to buying and reselling digital art. So the reason it's related to Magic is there's been some discussion within Hasbro about bringing NFT sales to the Magic world. So that means you could buy and sell the NFT, which it's complicated because you don't actually own anything. All you own is something that says that you own a piece.
Do you own the blockchain of it or something? Or?
You own the token. So the blockchain
or the token. Okay.
That relates to the work, but the original work of art still would belong to Wizards of the Coast. They would have the ownership of the original piece of artwork. So so you own the token.
Yeah. So why would people even buy this or anything? Like, what's the point of making an NFT to sell? Right.
Making an NFT to sell, the point is that you make money. If you're an artist,
well,
it's great.
I guess I mean, or I maybe not to sell, but to own, right?
Right. Some people are collectors, I think, and they want to collect this sort of digital version of an art. And a lot of people, I also believe, think of it as an investment. They purchase with the intent to resell. But the interesting thing is that NFTs are all on the Ethereum Well, they're not all on, but primarily they're traded under the Ethereum cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And NFTs are actually the only thing that you can currently buy or sell with Ethereum. You can't
Oh,
purchase
okay.
anything else. So if you own Ethereum, the only thing you're doing with it is reselling it or purchasing NFTs. Compared to Bitcoin, where you can buy things like a Tesla.
Yeah. It's just, I guess I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Like, I get it. Like, I get the concept of NFTs, but it's like, why?
Yes. I mean, that's kind of the question that I come back to every time, is that it sounds extremely pointless, and it also is relatively extremely pointless. Like, that is, people keep thinking there's like something larger to it, because the more you understand about it, like, the kind of dumber it sounds. And that's sort of why it feels like a big pyramid scheme.
Yeah, because
in my opinion, it kind of is a big pyramid scheme.
I can't really comment because it's like, I still don't know enough about it, but it's like, but just from what I know, I'm just like, it just seems dumb. Like, I mean, yeah, cool. Is it cool that an artist like yourself could sell something for an NFT? Yeah, awesome. But it's also, I guess I just don't understand the appeal of wanting to buy it unless it's to support you or support an artist like that, right? Not some big corporation.
Yeah, I'm sure some people purchase NFTs because they just directly want to support the artist that they're purchasing from. But in theory, we should have always been paying digital artists. We should have been commissioning digital artists, and we should have been buying their work, buying their prints, buying things from them. So I feel like NFTs were not crucial in the existence of artists. I mean, if it helps more people actually realize that we should be paying artists for their time and work, great. But I mean, we could have done that without NFTs.
True. And I want to discuss the environmental impact about NFTs and Bitcoin, or I guess cryptocurrency. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so there's some argument too, because people are mining Bitcoin, mining crypto all the time anyway. So there's a lot of conversation surrounding, even if NFTs didn't exist, people would still be mining crypto regardless. But it does take a substantial amount of energy usage to create the token for an NFT, the non-fungible token itself. It basically requires a bunch of computers solving complicated puzzles, which is just churning energy. And there are ways to improve that going forward. There's ways to use less energy, but definitely not every person that's mining crypto is taking that into account. Or every computer that's out there churning away is not doing it in the most energy efficient way possible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, shit, yeah. But I guess when an NFT, does it require more power than just trying to mine like a Bitcoin or something, or like a Litecoin, something like that?
I don't actually know the answer beyond like if specific cryptocurrencies or specific token creations require more power. I would assume Bitcoin is based on a specific value, so it probably takes a very specific amount of energy to create one.
Just
Bitcoin.
One, yeah. Yeah, but, now it does.
I'm assuming NFTs and Ethereum, NFTs are sold for different values, which requires different amounts of Ethereum. I'm not really an expert in Ethereum itself. My area of interest has always been the NFT specific side, unless I'm getting involved in the different cryptocurrencies themselves. I know a little bit about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but pretty much exclusively only how they relate to NFTs.
Okay. Now, it's always an interesting argument for cryptocurrency because it's I mean, hell, look at the effect it has on just the video game PC market right now, right, with GPUs. And now I read somewhere that there's a new sort of cryptocurrency that's also going to start taking up hard drive space or something like that. They're utilizing hard drive space to try to do the calculations or whatever.
Interesting.
I can't remember what it's called, but then, and if that takes off, then that's going to cause hard drive prices to skyrocket.
Oh man.
And
I did also recently read about a new type of NFT that was not Ethereum based. It was based on a different crypto and blockchain technology that is supposed to be significantly more energy efficient and environmentally friendly. But I didn't get a big chance to read into it. So, maybe if something like that comes along and is developed a little bit more thoroughly, I'll have different opinions when it comes to the environmental side of it. But I need to read into it more, and I need to wait until more information is available.
Oh yeah, for sure. The thing that makes me wonder is, I'm in networking, and part of what I have to deal with when I architect a data center, right, is I have to think about power consumption, and with devices that are coming out more and more, they're more power friendly, eco friendly, drawing less power and all that stuff, but I can only imagine just the amount of essential pollution we're essentially making to keep that data center up and running, and that's only like maybe extremely small compared to the grand scale of, like, you think of Google's data centers, right, or Microsoft or Amazon, Apple, stuff like that, and just the environmental impact those data centers have. And on top of it makes me wonder, like, how big some crypto mining operations really are, and how much power that draws too. And it's like what's the answer to try to make all these, the impact on the environment less? I mean, I feel like the companies are doing a better job as years go by, making these devices consume less power and all that. But I mean, the power's got to come from somewhere, though.
Does. And I think when I originally started researching NFTs too, I'd heard before that there's an environmental concern, but it took a couple of examples to really put it in perspective for me. I think I mentioned in my video too, but this one artist released a series of like 6 very short videos as NFTs, and then the amount of power that consumed to create those was equal to the same amount of power that artist's studio was, like, 2 months of operation for his entire studio was the same amount of power that it took to create 6 short video NFTs, which seemed massive. I read it a couple times, and then I dug up a couple other examples because I was like, that seems like a lot of energy. Like, that seems like a lot of energy. But it turned out, as I read more and more examples, that it seemed to be consistently true that it was, in fact, a massive amount of energy going into this creation. And I don't think, as much as I personally don't really like NFTs, and I think some of, Bitcoin makes sense to me, but some of the other cryptocurrencies don't really make very much sense to me in general.
Yeah, they don't.
But I don't think they're going anywhere necessarily, so I just hope that there are more energy efficient methods, like you were just talking about, companies getting better, stuff like that.
Yeah, because I mean, this is coming from someone who understands the extreme basics of power and electricity, like very, very, very basics of electricity. And I can't even imagine, like, you take a Bitcoining or crypto mining operation, slap it in a data center somewhere. Do those data centers have more efficient power consumption to, like, offset that stuff? And maybe the grids they're attached to don't affect. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but if I had it my way, I'd say just get rid of cryptocurrency, because I want a new video card. So a little bit selfish of me, it's like, shit, because I want to get one of the new 3 series, the 3000 series, and I am not gonna spend like $2,000-$3,000 on like a 3080 or something like that. Like, no.
My boyfriend just got a 3080. He got one for himself. And I was like, where's mine? Hello.
Right?
He was like, I could only get one. I was like, now I have to wait 6 more months for us to find one more 3080 somewhere.
I've had my 1080 for a good couple years now, and it still works fine. It still does its job, but I really want that RTX. I want that ray tracing.
I I know. I have a 1080 as well. I've had it 6 years, 5 years now.
I think I've had
just
mine
want
about the same.
something new. I'm ready. I'm like cracking my knuckles for a new graphics card.
And
Not
what's
that Magic the Gathering Arena
right?
supports ray tracing.
Right?
But if it did, I would be ray tracing the hell out of it with my new
Right.
3080.
Right, and it's not even like I play high graphic intensity games on my computer
I
either.
don't ever.
It's I think I did play Cyberpunk when it first came out last year. And I think I had everything set to ultra except, the ray tracing and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, the game looks cool, but just didn't do much to me. And it's like, I'd rather just go play Magic or League of Legends and I'm good.
Yeah. Wait, do you play a lot of League?
Not lately. I've been so busy lately with work.
I got it.
It's like this past month on top of my house and my job. And now that I'm actively like trying to do more D&D content stuff, it's taken up a lot of time. So it's
okay. But what champion do you main when you do play?
I guess I'm a simpleton. I love Ashe. Ashe is my favorite.
Fine. Ashe is great. I love her.
She is. I mean, because I started playing back in 2011 or whatever, and I think she was like one of the first champions you play through the tutorial back then.
I think so.
And she, ever since then, she's been my favorite. Her and Veigar, the little mage guy. Yeah.
The Yordle.
Though what I've been seeing lately, because I just play unranked, I don't play ranked or anything. What I've been seeing lately is Veigar support in the bottom lane, which is like really fucking bizarre.
Yes, it's viable. That's fine.
It throws me off so bad because you're used to some other support like Lux or someone else, and so you know how to deal with it. But then dealing with a Veigar bot, you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I guess he has some decent crowd control. So.
Yeah,
the baby cage is what everyone calls it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
curious.
Those two are my favorites. If I had to pick them, what about you?
I have level 7 champion mastery with Diana and Diana only. I love her so much. I can play her in almost any role. I mean, she's probably meant to be a mid laner, but I got my level 7 champion mastery playing her as an AD carry in bot lane, which is not how you're supposed to play her. But I did it. I was like, I will be better than every other AD carry Diana, which is like no one. So that's how I did it. That's how I got my champion mastery.
I just started. Oh no, that's awesome! I just started playing again this year, and I haven't played since like 2014, maybe. Holy crap! The game has changed so much. Like the whole champion levels thing, the blue essence and the riot points or whatever. Just in the crafting that can go in, and you no longer have to buy runes anymore. Oh my gosh, I fucking love that.
Rune pages.
I hated that shit. I hated I felt like you could only focus on like one champion or one role when you had to grind for the rune points and all that. I hated that. It was the worst. So glad they got rid of that.
The new system is better. It's much better.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I downloaded this app called blitz.gg.
Oh, I have it too. I have Blitz,
And coming back as like a player who hasn't played in years, holy shit, that's been like perfect for me. I no longer have to read guides on like what are the best skills to choose and items to buy. I'm like, oh, it just teless it all for me. I'm good.
I use it for team fight tactics primarily.
I have not tried that.
It's fun if you're a Magic player. I mean, auto chess and card games are not necessarily the same thing, but I think that it's more on the strategy side and less on the like mechanical reaction speed time of games. So I think that auto chess games are generally pretty well liked by Magic players.
I'll have to check. I think I did play one game of it and I didn't understand anything what was going on.
It takes a hot minute to get it.
Seemed like it, so I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna go back and play Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, I feel it.
Man, and they got rid of Twisted Tree Line and all that, and that was one of my favorites. Like, it wasn't the best, but God, I had some really awesome games as like Garen and that.
On
And that
yeah,
not
on the
map.
3v3. Yep.
Yeah, that was the freaking best. But no, I mean, at least they still have ARAM because that's always a fun casual one to play with some friends.
ARAM's never going away.
Good, good. And
I
I'm
hope. I mean, like, knock on wood.
oh, it's been around. Well, let's see. They had it back when I quit back in 2014. So I'm assuming it's gonna not go anywhere.
I
And they
hope.
still have Earth too, ultra rapid fire
Yeah,
mode.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I love it.
It is fun. It's a good one.
Yeah. Well, I need to get back into playing it again. Just so little time right now.
I
But
would play League with you. I was like, well, let's play League together, but I'm the person that only plays ranked everything.
oh, I'm not.
Only ranked literally every single game. I'm like, what is the point of playing casual? But that's just who I am as a person. So,
I know, and that's okay. That's okay. I used to be just like that. With like almost every game, like I wanted to get ranked. Especially when StarCraft 2 came out. Oh
oh,
man, I was so obsessed with it. I got very high up in the ladder in StarCraft 2
cool.
up to Diamond, and that was before they had like grandmasters and all that stuff, and
Mhm.
they just had masters. I was like right on the cusp of getting to masters or whatever, and but holy talk about freaking insane amount of time playing that game, like. And then also Call of Duty too. Like my wife and I, every time a new Call of Duty comes out, we'll play it together for like a few months, and all. It's sort of been like our ritual for the past couple years.
That's
And
awesome.
but then yeah, she's turning more into the competitive player now, and I'm turning more into the casual. Like I'll enjoy playing Animal Crossing for hours, and she's all into playing Apex Legends ranked and getting challenger. I don't know what the hell it's all called, what the ranks are.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. She
Well,
doesn't.
I'll play League of Legends ranked with your wife if she plays League.
She doesn't. She doesn't
Oh
do any
man.
computer games.
Ah,
It's all
console.
console.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
for
Well,
her.
my Apex game is too bad. I bet she's like a million times better than me.
Oh my god, I can't even play with her anymore. She'll get mad at me because it's like I don't know all the best guns and armor and all that stuff, and I'm all like is this any good? Is it's just like she's like shut up and just we gotta go.
I love that.
I'm like oh
That's the
damn.
best. She's very serious.
Oh yeah,
That's good.
and it's weird too because she's always been like a competitive person, but she's
Yeah.
never been into a game like that. Like we would play when we play Call of Duty, we would mainly just play zombies because that's what she loved.
Oh,
She
yeah.
loved the zombies mode, and that's what we mainly played. But she never really played the online like the deathmatch or capture the flag or anything like that.
Mhm.
But some with Apex, she just something happened where she just latched on and just fell in
It's
love.
the right game for her.
Yeah, which is great, and
That is good.
I want to play with her, like because I want to be able to spend time with her, but I'm like I don't like battle royales at all. I just
Yeah.
don't. It's like trying to get her to play Magic. She does not like Magic, no matter how many times she's tried to play it. Just
It's different genres of games, I think,
yeah,
very drastically appeal to different people, and that's okay.
yeah, and that's fine. It's fine. She's I love her. I love that she's turning into a gamer now later in life because she would always I wouldn't say get mad at me for playing games, just more like oh it's such a waste of time type stuff. And now it's like I can't like on her days off from work. It's like at night all she wants to do is just play games, and I'm like I don't blame her. It's her day off and all that
Yeah,
stuff, but
yeah,
it's like damn, never thought I'd see
that's
her
good.
hooked onto
I
a
like
console. Yeah. But what does suck though is when I want to get a PS5, I also have to buy her one at the same time.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, you're gonna have to get two
yeah,
PS5s. That's
yeah,
how it goes when you have two gamers in the household.
right, because you can't share one console because we tried that.
No.
It's I would get frustrated. She'd be hogging up my PS4, and then she'd get frustrated. I'd be playing something, and so it'd be like, all right, fine, I'll buy you your own.
Yeah,
And
that's
now
perfect.
and I had to buy her own Switch this year too because she wanted to
Ooh,
play Animal Crossing and
yeah,
Pokemon. So,
important.
oh
Very
yeah.
important titles for the Switch. Good games. I
So,
still don't have a Switch.
oh my god.
I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
If you travel a lot, it's like the best console ever.
Yeah,
Cuz for my job, well, before pandemic, like I would have to travel a lot for work and all that stuff, have to fly around the country. And best console ever for traveling. Like it's, you know, name a game genre. Yeah, it's perfect for it. Like, you know, the two things I always bring with me when I travel is my Switch and my Kindle. You know, read and then read when I want to, and then play a game when I want to. It's the best. But
ideal.
Oh yeah, it's the Switch is, you know, as much as I want a PS5 and as much as I love the PS4 and my PC, it's like Switch has been my favorite console in a long time. It's just so good.
I feel like I never got into handhelds. I think I touched on it a little bit, but I just didn't grow up playing games. I don't have any brothers or sisters. I'm an only child, and I don't know. It wasn't ever anything that my parents were like, let's play games together. It just didn't happen. So I just never had handhelds. I didn't really have a console until I was maybe 17. I got like a PS2. It was already, PS3 was already out at that point, but my parents bought me like an old PS2. So I think that's probably why I'm so much of a PC gamer now. So I just didn't play a lot of console at all growing up. But I played RuneScape on the computer when I was like 9 years old, and you had to lie about your age. But, you know, that's why I'm here on my PC.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. It's, I don't know. I don't know. When it comes to my gaming, I guess it depends on like the day of the week, right? It's like there are times where I just want to do nothing but PC game, then other times I just want to do nothing but play on the consoles and all that stuff. And the great thing about the Switch is it can be both a console and handheld. So that's it's the best thing about it.
It's so versatile. Every time I think about that console, I'm like, they were the smartest people.
I can't
did it right.
Yeah, I can't see how Nintendo could ever go back and make a normal console after this. Like
not after that.
Because it'd be dumb for them to do that. Like with how successful the Switch is, it's dumb. Like it just doesn't make any sense. All right, so hold on. I have a list of questions for you.
Oh my God. Okay.
That I've been doing recently with some of my guests. It's something new that I've done, and just to try to get people to know you a little bit more and get some answers. So it's going to be some weird questions, but let's see how you answer them, though. You ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Right.
What's the scariest animal?
The scariest animal?
And it could be insect, sea creature, stuff like that, too.
Oh, the scariest animal are those like weird fish that live at the very bottom of the ocean.
Oh, the ones with like,
I don't know what they're called, but they like they look
the no eyes or anything. They have,
like little like light things that like hanging. Yeah,
and, like
those
the
are
huge teeth or whatever.
Yeah, they're
God.
Like 50% teeth. Yeah, those are the scariest animals.
Oh God, yeah, no. I mean, just going underwater, period, would just be like, no, I'm good. Like going in a submarine or something like that. Like, no.
Oh yeah, like no. Way too deep in the ocean where there are things that we like don't know about yet.
Right, right, and not only that, like, oh, like one little crack or something somewhere, and you're you're dead.
Yeah.
All right, what's the best sandwich?
Oh, this is weird, but I don't fuck with bread very much.
Okay.
I know everyone is like, I love bread, and I just like don't really like bread that much.
That's fine.
So I don't eat very many sandwiches.
Okay.
I don't like sandwiches. I don't like sandwiches. That's so weird. Someone's gonna be like, what the fuck, this girl doesn't like sandwiches.
Hey, there's like all right. You want to know something I don't like? And this has gotten hate comments before. I don't like ice cream. I cannot stand ice cream.
I like ice cream, but I will respect your dislike for ice cream.
I gag at the smell of it.
That's weird, but I mean, it doesn't hurt my life that you don't like ice cream. So.
No, but I've had so many people. I've had so many people mad at me. I'm like I don't like ice cream at all, and they're just like, "What the fuck?"
It is pretty weird, but it's okay. It's all right. To each their own.
Yeah, we all have our weird little quirks of it. What is your least favorite smell?
My least favorite smell is this mixture of stew that my mom made one time in my childhood that consisted of tomatoes, fried okra, and corn. And
Okay.
both the coloring and the smell to me was like vomit. And I was like, I can't do this. This is the
You
worst
still
thing I've
remember that?
ever experienced. I still remember that smell. It's a terrible
Oh
smell.
man.
And everyone else was like, this is fine. Like, why don't you like this? Like, it's just a stew. It's pretty good. And for something about it was not for me. It was just,
That's
it was
crazy.
like when I was 10 years old and I still remember how bad it was. That's the worst smell.
Oh wow, and you still
And my
remembered
mom is
after
a
all these years.
yes, my mom is a very good cook too. So it was very bizarre that she made something that I just could not do.
Oh
So
wow, that's
that
crazy.
is the worst smell.
On the flip side, what's your favorite smell?
My favorite smell is sage.
Okay.
I spent some time growing up in Colorado, and sage is everywhere. And it smells so good. And I've been trying to find the perfect sage scented candle, but I don't think it exists. I
Hmm.
don't think that there is a good sage scented candle. So if there's someone out there who makes candles, I would really
Right?
like a sage scented candle, please.
I can't even think of what sage smells like off the top of my head right now.
Oh, it's good. Very good.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that. It's a unique answer. Um, all right, next one. You get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it?
One song.
Just one song.
Hmm, probably Gemini Feed by Banks.
I don't know
It's
who that
okay if you
is.
don't know it. That's fine.
Never heard of
She's
them.
like an indie electronica singer, songwriter. I really like that song. It's the title track off of the first track off of an album she released when I was in college. I listened to that album on repeat for about
Nice.
6 months of my life. I think I was in a dark time, and the album was just, sometimes you just have music that does something for you in a time
Oh
period,
yeah.
and that was the one for me. So
Oh yeah.
probably
No.
the song.
No. I've got one that Oh God, what's the name of the album? You ever heard of the band Cursive?
What genre?
Oh God, what genre would they even be? Having to look it up.
I'm
They're
looking
an
it up.
American indie rock band.
Okay, all right. I
Shit, what
don't
was?
think I know them.
Yeah, the Ugly Organ. Their album called The Ugly Organ. That was like my album I listened to like so much during
Yeah,
college and all
that's
that.
cool.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Like there's those songs that something happens to you in that time of life, and that song like will stick with you
Yeah.
forever
Oh
and all
yeah.
that. So was it Gemini Feed? You said it was.
Yes, the name of the song is Gemini Feed.
Okay, okay. Um, all right. Next one. What is one thing you own that you should really throw out?
Oh, I'm like looking at my apartment. I have a couple of houseplants that are like almost dead that I haven't given up on, but they're probably just completely dead and I should really get rid of them. But I
Well,
can't bring myself to commit to the fact that they're dead.
well, if you can revive them somehow.
I keep trying, and at some point though, after you've been trying to revive a dead looking plant for several months, you really just need to give up on it. Be like, this one's actually dead. So
Oh man.
I'm pretty good with plants, so most of my plants do pretty
Yeah,
well. But
I'm noticing.
there's
Yeah.
a couple that I just can't. I haven't given up on them, but they're definitely already dead.
No, I've noticed the plants in your background. I like them. Are they all
Thank you.
live?
They're all alive. All of my plants are
Nice,
real. I
nice.
think I have like 35 houseplants. Some are
Oh,
small, but I have
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of houseplants.
Man,
I like my plants.
that's awesome. Like my wife and I tried that in one of our apartments one time, and just yeah, didn't last very long. We kept on forgetting to water. We sucked.
It's only good if you like it, because honestly, fake plants look pretty good. But if it's something that brings you joy, like it does for me, I just like the
Oh yeah.
process of caring for and raising plants. So,
No,
but
that's
I'm not
awesome.
one of those people that judges people for having fake plants. Like if fake plant is right for you, have a
Yeah,
fake
right.
plant.
Yeah. Yeah, because some people are like me who, get a real plant, will water it, and then forget a week because of who the hell
Like,
knows,
yeah,
life. Yeah. So,
It's good
okay.
for me. It's like calming to just go remind myself to water all the plants, recenter myself, take some
And that's
time.
awesome.
It's good.
I
Yeah.
like that. I like that. It's sort of like your own meditation, your own form of
Yeah.
meditation.
Yeah. It
That's
takes me like
awesome.
a good 30 minutes to water all my plants, so it's fine. I just have to do it.
Well, hey, 30 minutes of meditation, just
Yes.
looking at your
Yeah.
plants and
Mm-hmm.
seeing how well they're growing and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
And
I like that.
they all have really, really good punny names. My favorite is Keanu Leaves. That's my favorite plant, but he's all the way over there. I can't show you him right now, but
That's awesome.
they're all very punnily named.
That's awesome. What's something people seem to misunderstand about you?
Oh, I don't know if it's like misunderstood, but I speed walk like everywhere I go, and I think people think I'm just constantly in a hurry and I'm like too busy for them because I'm always on fast mode, but I just have really long legs. So it's just how fast that I walk. But I've had experiences like when I go to TwitchCon and stuff, people are like, it seems like you don't want to hang out with me, like you're trying to lose me in the crowd or whatever. Like, no, I'm very tall and I have very long legs, and that's just how fast I walk. So I'm
Yeah.
not trying to avoid anyone. I just have a fast pace.
So are you one of those people who don't like to dawdle, like to walk slow or something?
I mean, not really. I don't really notice that I'm like consciously in a hurry to get anywhere.
Oh,
But
okay.
I tend to be at a pretty fast pace. But I mean, I'm taller than most of my female friends, I guess, too. So
Hmm.
if I'm ever walking somewhere with them, I just feel like my legs are like twice as long. So I'm going
Interesting.
pretty quickly.
Interesting. I like that. What would you pick for your last meal?
Oh, for my last meal, my very first thought was like Kraft macaroni and cheese. So I
Ooh.
guess that's gonna have to be it. I really like the boxed macaroni and cheese from Kraft. I love that shit. I love that shit
Hey.
so much. It's like my comfort food as an adult now. Is like you make a box of mac and cheese.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
guess
I mean,
that's gonna have to be my last meal.
well, would you do anything fancy with it or just straight out of the box and eat it like that?
Just just out of the box. Pour the whole thing in a bowl. Go for it.
Nice. Nice. Hey, that's very interesting. That's one of the more interesting answers. I like it.
It's one of those like comfort. It's not my favorite food in the whole world.
Yeah,
Like my
yeah.
favorite food is probably like my mom's cream potatoes, which is super good. But I don't know if that's really like when you say last meal, it implies that like your mother isn't cooking it and no one's gonna do it the same way as your mother. So you have to have something that like anyone can cook. And I feel like it's pretty hard to fuck up a box of mac and cheese. So
Someone out there can fuck it up.
I'm sure they could, but it's gonna be more difficult. And so I have to go with that.
Okay, cool. Cool. Speaking of food, if you could have dinner with any three people, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Any three people?
Yep.
This is hard enough to think of one person. Um, any three people dead or alive. I think I would like to have dinner with honestly, this one's kind of cheesy, but three of my grandparents have passed away. One is still alive, and it would probably have to be the three of my grandparents who have passed away because most of them passed when I was old enough to know them decently,
Hmm.
but I was too young to have asked them like any interesting questions about their lives. And all of them lived really, really interesting lives. Like one of my grandmothers grew up in Europe during World War II, and I would have loved
Ooh,
to been able to
yeah.
ask her like questions about her life that I just was too young to ever get to know. So it would have to, I guess, be all three of my grandparents who have passed.
No, and that's a perfect answer because I know one of my answers would be my grandfather, who was pretty much like my father growing up. And
Mm,
same thing, he was a World War II soldier. He was there in the invasion of Normandy and all that
wow.
stuff the day of. And just, he would never talk about it growing up and all
Sure.
that. And I don't blame him because, I
Right.
can only imagine the atrocities he saw and all
Right.
that. So, but I'd love to pick his brain, just asking him more stuff that I felt like maybe I never got a chance to ask him and all that. So
Yeah. I'm the same
no,
way, for
I'm
sure.
I'm right there with you. I'd be having with my grandparents too. So I like that. That's nice. Um, And last question, what motivates you in the morning to get up?
Coffee and spite.
Coffee and spite. Where's the spite coming from?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of my motivation is and I don't think I get like an exceptional amount of harassment or hatred, but the little bit that comes through to me, I think just makes me very, very encouraged to continue to always become a better person and always do my best and always try even harder. Because I know I make worthwhile things. I put really cool stuff out there, but sometimes the spite is just very satisfying.
Oh yeah.
If I just do this one thing and I do it really well,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna feel so good. And then coffee. I have coffee every morning. I walk to the same coffee shop. They all know my name. They all know what I drink. And it's nice. It gets me out of bed in the morning. I'm like, if I get out of bed, I can go get my coffee. So
Well, that's good.
it works out.
So how do you deal with all the harassment you get? Like, I know we talked about it earlier, but it's gotta, does it take a toll on you at all, or?
Sometimes, every now and then, I'll just have a really bad night where it's like, why? Why are people specifically so mad at me when I don't even know who they are? It's just like people in the world. But I think for the most part, sometimes I think it's really funny. Sometimes I get a really good laugh out of it. Like people will say mean things to me, and it's like so unrelated to who I am as an actual person that it's like almost humorous.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
They're trying to hit all the mean buzzwords, and I'm like, none of those things actually describe anything about me. So sometimes I get a really good laugh out of it. It's like they're just grasping at something, but it doesn't reflect me at all. So sometimes it gets a little hurtful, and you're just like, why? The question I ask myself very frequently is like, why? This is just exhausting for probably both me and them.
Yeah.
Taking time out of their day. But I think you just have to laugh about it, find some humor in it, and then remind yourself that spite is actually an okay motivator. So sometimes you just you get up and you succeed even better the next day, and you're just like sticking it to the man. Not really the man, but you know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You're just gonna do even better because of it.
And be like, fuck you, I'm awesome type shit.
Yeah.
Like get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do even better. It's like I'm not going anywhere, so the stuff that people say is pointless because I'm just gonna have more achievements.
No, I know what you mean. Like I said, I can't compare like to what you get and what I've seen like Pixie gets, because I know the harassment women get are different and all that stuff. But any kind of hate that I get, I just try to have the mindset of like, yes, it feeds me. Like, yes. Bring me the hate. That means, hey, they watched something of mine and they hated it.
I know.
Right?
Haters really do be making me famous. Sometimes I come to that. I'm like, okay, but you watch all of my content. You follow all of my accounts. And you're probably like 50% of my YouTube hours. So it's gonna be okay.
It's like, why?
Wasting your own time.
I mean, there's
technically helping me.
Yeah, it's like what I don't understand. Like, of course, there's people I don't like out there and all that stuff. It's like, but I just don't watch their content, or I just don't pay attention to them. It's like, I don't care what they do. You know what I mean? It's like, but no, these people they have to tell you how they feel because they're right. Fuck you, you're wrong, and all that. Like.
That's why I sometimes get a good laugh out of it. It's like funny how important your content is to them. It's like almost more important to them than it is to me sometimes. I'm just like, your level of investment in this is very extreme, but I appreciate it in a weird way. So
yeah,
okay.
Just people love to be mad about something. It's and oh, that was right. That was something I wanted to bring up that we briefly touched on. Was just like how when you said you started playing Magic again with Arena and all that, going to being nervous about people like playing in person and all that. That's one thing that I feel as like the culture around Magic has gotten slowly better, is the less gatekeeping compared to what it was, 10 years ago. Like, yeah, there's still a lot of gatekeeping that goes on in Magic. And you see the same stuff in the D&D community as well too. But I feel it's gotten way better because, like you mentioned, there's a lot more diversity and inclusiveness. Like when I went to my first GP 5, 6, 7 years ago or whatever, pretty much nothing but dudes, right? Majority, and like very few women, or any other kind of POCs or anything like that. And the last one I went to, I think towards the end of 2019 or something, it was like way more diverse than it was I'd ever seen. I'm just like, holy shit, just a short amount of time, it's gotten way more diverse. Like, could it be better? Yeah, of course. But it's, and I feel like that's where a lot of people just get mad because they're so used to this whole like culture of nerd culture, like Magic getting open to the masses, when for a long time it was just, relegated to just the people in the basement and all that stuff, and people can't accept times are changing and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy primarily to be around like people who look like you and have the same background as you,
Oh yeah.
which is why, like, as a woman, it's great to go to an event and you see other women there because you feel like automatically like you have a place to belong. But I can imagine that some people feel the opposite way as well. It's like they go to a place and it's no longer like entirely people that look like them and come from the same background. So
I think
they're
it should be
adjusting.
great.
Some people adjust
Yeah.
really well, and some people do not adjust quite as well. But I also think that, and this is, one of the reasons why I am a content creator is because we have such positive and talented, like women and diverse people, non-binary individuals in the Magic the Gathering content space, that it's been really encouraging to me, that it is going to be a welcoming and positive environment. And I'm hoping that, me being out there and sharing my experience and even talking about like how nervous I get will be, people are going to relate to that. Maybe there's like other women out there who are like, oh my God, I'm really nervous to play too. But if she did it and it worked out
Yeah.
okay for her, then they'll be like, well, I'll just keep going and I'll keep trying.
And that's awesome.
They'll have the same experiences that I've had. And I mean, I wouldn't probably be a woman in the content creation space here if it wasn't for, streamers like Amy Amazonian and
Hmm.
like Voxy, who just are massive and popular on Twitch, and I'm really excited for them. And then there's women in this space like Emma Handy. I know she works for Wizards now, but she's an
Yeah.
incredibly talented, like high level player
Oh yeah.
that inspires me every
Great
day.
commentator
So
too when she did it too.
yes. So I get really excited to see all the women in this space, and that's like why I'm here. And then I just hope that even after me, there's the next generation of even more women in this space.
Oh
So
yeah, and I think that's one of been the great things about Arena is it's opened the doors for a lot of women and people and
yeah,
non-binary and people like that. Because I've said this before, where before Arena, like I can only recall like one or two women streamers streaming Magic, just Magic Online. Now it's so many, and it's awesome to see.
yeah.
Um, it's great to see that diversity. It really is.
It's inspiring and it's exciting too. And I think, having so many women in the pro scene for Magic is really inspiring to me too. Because that was
Yes.
always my like stretch goal. And I'm like, there's already people out there doing it. That could be me. It could so easily be me. When you can picture yourself there, it's much easier.
It could be you, Jana, Skybills as the.
Oh my God. There's so many like up and coming, really talented um women and men and non-binary people on Twitch too, who I'm just looking forward to the next generation of like pro players too,
Oh
regardless
yeah.
of gender as well. I'm still excited. I support so many like really great men in the content creation space who are doing everything they can to make the space better as well. That I really, really, really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no,
it's made it much more inviting.
Oh no, that's always good. It is nice seeing especially like the pandemic has come out with a lot of good newer content creators for Magic that are just just really great people, and it's I like seeing that, because the one thing I notice almost every year is I always see a new influx of content creators starting at the beginning of the year and all that stuff, but it's what I look for to see, like, all right, who's going to stick with it, right? Because some people will be like, yeah, I'm going to start streaming or podcasting or YouTube, and they do it for 3-6 months and that's it.
Right.
It's what I get interested in. It's like, who's going to stick with it and like actually do something that, is innovative or fun or creative, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's exciting. And even, I've been streaming Magic for, I guess it's been 2 years now, but there's been new creators even who've started after me who've done so well for themselves, and that's exciting too. It's great that Magic is growing and that people are just starting in content world, and they already have really great large audiences. Like Philippa is doing really well. I think
oh my gosh, yeah,
she's streaming just a little bit before her, and she's like already grown a massive audience. She's so good. She's an amazing player.
I know. So I remember when she first started out, and now it's like she's already blowing up. It's great to see that.
It is good. It's really cool.
It's God, that's also part of the FOMO that misses out with content creation, because you're like, I'm like 5 years into this, like, oh, I wish I could be as big as so and so, but I think that's where it comes down to people's goals are different, though, in terms of like, I don't want to be a Twitch streamer. Like, I like streaming on Twitch, but there's no way I want to be like Twitch partner or anything like that. It's just not what I enjoy. I love this, right? I love the podcasting.
You're good at it.
Oh, thank you. But it's what I enjoy.
Content is always exciting. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. But I think that's what a lot of content creators just need to find out is, what do they enjoy instead of just doing what's popular.
Yeah. Because I think that there's a lot of different ways to be a creator. And especially now with even things like TikTok are coming to the forefront. It's like there could be Magic the Gathering TikTok creators that just do that as a primary. Right? We don't even know about them yet. That would be so cool.
I know that's part of why I joined TikTok, because just to try to discover more people out there, and yeah, I've already met a few people that just do Magic TikTok stuff, and I tell them, like, come over to Twitter, all right, come on over.
Yeah.
It's like
Twitter's great.
Oh yeah, like Twitter's great.
I have my ranking of like friendliest social media platforms for Magic. Twitter's pretty good. Twitter's decent.
Oh, is it? What is Facebook the worst?
Yeah, Facebook and Reddit.
Oh yeah. Ugh.
Facebook and Reddit, and then Twitter is, well, I guess probably then Instagram, then TikTok, and then Twitter, and then Twitch, which is the best.
Okay.
So I have a ranking system in my head.
No, it's I just started doing on TikTok just recently. I started doing taking Magic cards and translating them into D&D spells and all that. And
I love that.
I've been doing it on Twitter too, but I haven't been making videos of it. But oh man, it's you think Magic players love to tell you that you're wrong? D&D players love to tell you that you're wrong on stuff. You're like,
no.
It's just like, oh my god. It's like, so the thing with like trying to convert Magic cards into D&D spells is like, there's so many Magic cards out there that summon creatures or tutor for creatures and all that stuff. It's kind of hard to convert over into D&D, where it's like a pen and paper RPG. So you try to be a little bit more creative with it, and then you try to do something different with that card, and they're all like, no, you're wrong. It needs to be like this. It needs to do this. I'm like,
oh,
okay. You fucking do it then. I'm just having fun making this thing here,
I know. I do that all the time. People are like, I would have done that better. I'm like, but did you?
Yeah, but did you?
Did you do it?
Did you?
Did you make it? Did you make the content? Was it better because you didn't even make it?
Right. Oh my god, the worst is when you're playing either Arena or like even Paper EDH in front of a bunch of people on stream, and you make a mistake in play, and you have so many people telling, well, why didn't you play it like this? Why didn't you play the land first and then lightning bolt the bird or whatever? You're like, well, you know, sorry, I'm not fucking perfect, okay?
I know. It's like, I didn't see that line, okay?
Yeah.
At that moment, I was just, you know, doing the brain thing. It's fine. It's okay. You're not playing this game.
I remember
Twitch all the time.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I remember the first time I got like super nervous on a stream. Channel Fireball was doing like their online command fest last year and all that, and the game I was playing, there was like 500-600 people on stream watching, and it's like I've never had that many people watching me. Like I average like maybe 20 to 30, right? And that doesn't bother me, but having like 600 people and I'm all like playing a deck, and you can see in the corner of the chat like, oh, well, why didn't Zuby do this or that? Or like, his deck is terrible. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, all right? It's nerve-wracking.
It is. It is. I don't know.
Same time,
I think we should normalize people making mistakes more often and like learning things and just like doing their best. It's okay.
No, because during that command vest, you also had someone that wasn't on screen or anything talking to all of us on the pod, telling us certain stuff like, oh, you know, make sure you hurry up the play or whatever, or you know, hey, make sure XYZ happens, and you're just like, oh shit, and that adds on to the pressure. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize like it can be nerve-wracking.
No. It is. It's always, you know, putting out content, and anyway, you know, you want people to watch it, but at the same time, there's the nerve-wrackingness behind the fact that people are watching it.
That's why I like podcasting, where it's like, hey, I don't have to prove that I'm a good player. I know I'm trash and all that stuff. It's like,
I bet you're not. I 100% don't believe it.
All I really play is EDH now, and Cube. Cube is about it. It's I used to be competitive, but I can't. It just I think what killed it for me were the other players. Just the amount of rules lawyers and the people always trying to one up you and stuff and like trick you up. Just like I hated that shit. That's why I like hearing like competitive players like yourself, like, you know, just do arena and all that stuff, because man, paper play, not saying that I don't think you can do it or anything. I think you're very capable from what I've seen, but man, it's fucking like nerve-wracking too, because
I made so many mistakes in paper play.
Well, and it's not so much mistakes on your own, it's when you play against like a complete asshole too.
Yeah,
who is watching to make sure you fuck up, and then as soon as you fuck up, judge, you know, they're trying to get you game warning or game match loss. It's like, oh, I hated that. I hated that whole environment of it. It was so toxic.
I played against people, you know, who I'm trying to name something with meddling mage. Yeah. And it's like, you forget the precise, like, exact card, or you get like one word in the name of the card wrong, or like,
they'll get a judge on you.
It's like a legendary card, so it has a name, like an actual name, and you're like, pronounce it wrong or don't remember the exact
the full name or something. Like,
I was like, man, you know what I mean. Like, you don't have to be an asshole about it. If it was reversed, I would 100% be like, yes. That was fine. Like, I know the card that you mean, and I know fully well that is what you intended.
Oh, and the worst is...
like, you say something like Big Karn, and they're like, what's the name of Big Karn? I'm like, I don't fucking know the name of Big Karn off the top of my head. It's Big Karn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Tron one.
Yeah, the big one, because there's little Karn and big Karn.
Yeah.
Fine.
Shit, what is it? What is it?
It's,
Satcon Urza Scion, or is that, or Karn Liberated? Is Karn Liberated the big one?
Karn Liberated is 7, and there's Karn the Great Creator, which is 4, but that one doesn't really see play, I guess. There's Karn Scion of Urza, which is also 4.
Is it Karn Liberated is the big one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Karn...
See, I haven't played Modern in years now.
I'm like trying to look it up at the same time.
No, but
little Karn gets cards out of your sideboard, and then Big Karn does other bullshit.
Yeah, the exile shit.
Yeah.
The thing that I hated the most was not even when I was doing like comp REL events, but when you're doing F&M and you have the people that take it so seriously, like oh my god, $20 in store credit is on the line. What am I gonna do? Or maybe a pack or two.
Yeah.
And it's like you're taking this way too seriously.
Yeah.
That also killed my mood of wanting to ever play competitive again. So not that EDH can be any better, but when you find a group of people that you really enjoy playing EDH with, it makes it all the better.
It's true. EDH for me and my history of playing just has such long games, and this is another thing, my attention span is like this long. Which is why I love modern, because the games are hopefully gonna be like really short. So that's perfect. It's like the perfect
you'd
format for
love
me.
Legacy too.
I probably would. It's like the shortest game possible. Just speedrun it. That's why EDH is like just long for me. It's so long.
Yeah, EDH. Yeah, it can be like with Legacy. You'd probably love Infect or something, where it's like over by turn 2.
I would just be like, yeah, turn 2, turn 3 win. That's great, and then I can play the next game.
That is one thing I really did enjoy about Modern Legacy, like especially when doing the side events at GPs, you'd be over pretty quickly.
Yeah, you don't have to sit there for too long. I don't know why my attention span is so short. I'm just cursed with the goldfish attention span. That's okay.
It happens. I think what happens is, like, now that there's so much things vying for our attention now, like we've got our phones, then we've got our computers with all these notifications and social media. It's no wonder, like, our kids, like my kids, are screwed. Like if you ever plan to have children, like they're going to be screwed, because they're going to be living in a world full of nothing but smartphones and being 100% connected. Like you and I, we grew up before smartphones were a thing, and as much as I love my smartphone, if I didn't have to have it for like my job or content creation, I could live without it. Like I wouldn't need it.
Oh, I don't know if I could do without my smartphone.
I could. I say that, but who the hell knows? But
you like cuddling my phone. I spend a lot of time on my phone, but that's because of all my content mostly. Maybe if I didn't do content, I could live without my smartphone. I don't know about now.
I say that, but then again, it's like you find yourself just browsing random shit too that you don't even think about, or just wanting to be able to Google something really quick too, right?
I find myself just reading Twitter sometimes, like it's a newspaper, and I'm like, I need to stop. This is too much. This is overboard. Sometimes
I notice, like, when I get unhealthily, I don't know if that's a word, unhealthily addicted to Twitter or something like that, I'm like, okay, now I need to get away for a day or two and just maybe post one thing that day and just go away from it, ignore it, because it's I know exactly what you mean. It's first thing I wake up in the morning, it's like I gotta check Twitter, Discord. It's like I'm addicted to Discord now, and all that shit. But we've been doing
another thing I do. I don't check my messages until after I've had my coffee every day.
I'm about the same way.
A lot of weird messages, or you just like checking your messages is a pain. Just have your morning ritual first before you get on your phone and check all your messages. It helps.
I agree with that.
I'm much more equipped to deal with anything problematic after I've had coffee. That's my only little piece of advice. I'll squeeze that one in there.
Nice. Well, we've been going at it for about 2 hours now. And
damn, I didn't even realize.
I know.
I was having such good chats.
Oh, thank you. I know when you mentioned like your short attention span, I'm like, dang, but you've lasted 2 hours though.
Because we were talking, it was like, everything was changing.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, awesome. So where can people find you if they want to reach out to you or anything like that?
People can find me at Emma Skyeward on anything, pretty much. Okay. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. That's everything. YouTube, Emma Skyeward on all of it.
Nice. Well, thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate it. Taking time out of your night to come on and chat with me.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Really enjoyed it.
Me as well. I'm hoping maybe we'll have another time in the future. Maybe we'll get together and play some games.
Yes. Either League or some EDH or something like that.
Cool.
Yes. All right. So I will hope you have a good night. All right.
Yeah, you as well.
Hey everybody, thank you all for listening and watching to the show. I appreciate every single one of you who continue to stick by and listen and watch this. You all are awesome and amazing, and I hope you really enjoyed watching and listening to Emma. She is a really, really awesome person. Highly recommend checking her out. And yeah, it was great time talking with her. Really enjoyed it, and I want to try to do some other content with her, like maybe EDH or something. Maybe League of Legends. I keep saying that, like I want to play League of Legends. Some people, I said that to Kuro Hitsuki. We haven't done it yet, though. It's just been life has been crazy right now, and it's just life's going crazy right now, and I'm trying to keep up with it all. But anyways, so thank you all for listening and watching again. Hope you all really enjoyed the episode, and hope you all have a great night.